Hi, and welcome to your local library. My name is Sarah, and today we're going to be making fabric covered baubles. For this craft, you're going to need a craft kit that you grabbed from the local library. If you didn't get a craft kit, that's okay. Everything you need will be found at a local craft store. So we grab our materials out. So we'll need this little bag here, which has everything we need. We will also need a few tools. We're going to need a pen, some coloured pencils, so white or yellow are preferred, a pair of scissors, and this is optional, but if you want a neater finish, a kitchen knife. Now, if you can't use a knife to cut up your own meat, then you're going to need a grown-up to help you with this bit, because we don't want anyone accidentally cutting themselves, so be very careful. In fact, if you want to pause the video at any point, that's great, because you need to take your time with this. The video will be up on our webpage, which you can follow to this QR code here in a couple of days, as well as an instruction sheet for you to go through. There's heaps of other activities on there as well, so if you find yourself a little bit bored this school holidays, you can click onto a link and grab another craft activity to do. You'll also need your little kit that you get in your bag. So inside here, we have a wooden knife. You can also use a butter knife at home if you don't grab this kit. We've got some polystyrene balls. These ones are the 3 centimetre wide balls, but you can make this as big or as small as you like. We've got our template for our fabric. We have a ribbon, which is 20 centimetres long, and we have some fabric. Oh, and they just bounced off the table, some pins, some little plastic pins there. So you should have about 10 pins in there. You'll also have 2 pieces of ribbon, 2 balls, and 4 pieces of fabric. So that's enough to make 2 baubles for your tree. You'll also have, because this craft needs a tape measure, we've printed you out a little tape measure to use for this as well. So there we go. So pop those to the side. All right, so first we need to prepare our ball. So this, we're going to need our little plastic ball, our tape measure, and a pen. Now, if you've got your grown-up person with you, they can help hold the tape measure while you trace. So on your ball, you have a little dot at the top and one at the bottom, and there's a line that runs all the way around the outside. So we want to place our tape measure at the dot at the top, and then wrap it around to the dot at the bottom. See if we can see that. And then we're going to grab our pen and we're going to trace along our tape measure for a straight line. Don't worry if it gets a little bit bendy, that's okay. This is just a guide. So now we've got a line on this side of the ball. We're going to turn it around and do the same on the other side of the ball, like so. So that way we have a line that runs all the way around our ball. Like that, see? Now we're going to turn our ball 90 degrees and we're going to do a line that crosses over this one. So that's turning our ball into 4 segments. So we've made a half and now we're making a quarter, or 4 quarters. So we're going to go all the other way and trace that one, like so. All right, so we've got a quarter ball now, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We're now going to make that an 1/8, so we're going to put a line in between each of those quarters. So one like so. Now I'm moving pretty quickly, but do take your time with this. And as I said, you can pause the video or you can check out our webpage to watch it later on as well. All right, I'll do one more line. Like so. It's getting a bit confusing, all these lines. There we go. And the last one. So now we've divided our ball up into 8 segments, like so. Now we're going to need to score along these lines. Now you can use your wooden knife to do this, but you need to work very slowly and carefully, and you just need to go backwards and forwards like a saw. And you only want to cut a little bit, only about 5 millimeters, which is half a centimeter. So if we look at our tape measure, only about that much, very tiny amount. Now, if you want it a little bit neater, it's a good idea to get a kitchen knife to do this, but get a grown-up to do this bit, okay? So we're going to cut along our lines, just a little bit. So I'm going to put it down on the table so I'm being safe, making sure my fingers are well away from the knife. Let's score that line. Score that line. And don't worry if little bits of the styrofoam come away. It doesn't have to be very neat because you're going to cover all of this with fabric later. All right, so cut that line. Cut that line. Now you don't have to do an 1/8, you can just stop at the quarter and do a quarter ball. And in the pattern pieces you'll see that I've got a quarter piece and I've got an 1/8 piece as well. All right, nearly done. I've got just this one to do actually. There we go. So as you can see, I didn't cut all the way through, just a little bit down. All right, so get all the little bits of ball away. Right, tidy up my space. It's a good idea to tidy as you go. Okay, so our ball is ready. Now we're going to get our fabric ready. So as I said, we've got 2 pattern pieces. We've got an 1/8 pattern piece and we've got a quarter pattern piece. Now depending on how you scored your ball is which one you're going to use. If you're using the quarter pattern piece, just make sure that you make the pattern piece just a little bit bigger, because I made a mistake when I was making this pattern and I made the quarter piece just a little bit too small. So just like this, we're just going to draw a line about half a centimetre on either side, like so. And you can see there I've made that quarter pattern piece just that little bit bigger. Okay, but I need my 1/8 pattern piece for this one, so I'm going to grab my scissors and being very careful, I'm going to cut out that pattern, like so. And I'm going to transfer that to my material. So we've got some lovely Christmas material in our pack here. I'm going to turn it over so the back is facing up, and I'm going to do, let's see, I could use 1 of each piece or 2 of each piece to make up our 8, or I can cut 4 from 2 pieces. So I think I'm going to do that today. So I'm just going to take 2 pieces and grab my pattern and place it on the fabric. And using my pen, I'm going to trace around on the light material around the pattern piece. So 4 of these. One, 2, oops, 3, and 4. And as you can see, I'm not being very neat. You don't have to be very neat, just near enough is good enough with this one, because we're going to tuck all the ends away inside of the ball so you won't see them. So that's my 4 of the lighter material. With the darker material, I'm going to grab a white pencil or a yellow pencil and trace around with that so I can see it on the material. So we'll place that there. I'll trace around there like that. You know, this is my very favorite Christmas decoration, because I actually made these with my mum and my brother and my sister when I was a little girl. And they last a very long time because these decorations are still hanging on my parents' Christmas tree at home. And that was a very long time ago that we made those. All right, let's pop these around like that. And 1 more makes 4. Trace like so. Okay, so now we're going to grab our scissors again and very carefully cut out our fabric shapes. 2, 3. I'm trying very hard not to chew as I cut, because when I cut fabric, I unconsciously chew with my mouth. Hold it still. There we go. Do you do that too? I know my niece sticks her tongue out when she's cutting fabric. Remember, it's very important to take your time with scissors and to be very careful, because we don't want to cut ourselves. There we go. So take your time, and if you do need to pause the video so that you can follow along, you can do that as well. There we go. All right, almost done. There we go. Okay, so we've got our 8 pieces now, and now we're ready to assemble our bauble. So we're going to grab our bauble, we'll put away our scissors so we don't accidentally cut ourselves with those, and we're going to need our wooden knife for this one. We're going to grab our piece of fabric and we're going to hold it at the top of the ball and at the bottom of the ball, covering one of our segments that we've cut into the ball. Now we're going to grab our wooden knife and we're going to press the edge of the fabric into that slit that we made there on one side, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, like so. And we're going to alternate one side to the next, one side to the next, all the way up until it's all tucked in to the ball along the edge there. So we'll do that side, a little bit on this side, on that side. Don't worry if the fabric is hanging out over the edge, we'll cut away that bit at the end. So we'll go to the other end, so tuck on this side, tuck on that side. We just want to do side to side so we don't run out of fabric on one side. But if you do, no worries, it's very easy just to pull it out and start again. All right, so we've got one side in. So then we're going to grab our green, so we'll alternate green and red, hold it at either end, and grab our knife, and then we'll tuck that in on this side, and then tuck it in on that side. And just take your time with this. No need to rush, because the more time you take, the more neater it will look and the more prettier it will look. Now this is a very simple shape that we cut going back and forth long ways across your ball. If you look online or Google fabric covered balls, you can see there's lots of really complicated designs that people have made where they've cut shapes halfway down the ball and done one pattern here and one pattern down the bottom. So you can make it as simple or as complicated as you like. So there we go. Tuck that in. As you can see, I've got a little bit of fabric at the top there, and I'll just cut that away at the end. So grabbing my red, tuck that in this side. Oops. All right. So, has everyone decorated their Christmas tree at home yet? At home, when I was a little girl, we used to put up our Christmas tree on the 1st of December. Who else does that? It's lots of fun. We'd play Christmas music and we'd sing Christmas carols and put up our Christmas tree, and we'd always put up the candy canes, and we could have one candy cane each while we were decorating the tree, and then we weren't allowed to touch them until Christmas morning, which was a very long time to wait to have our Christmas candy canes. All right. What other things do you do at Christmas time? My brother and sister and I used to purchase a gift for each other, and those were the presents we were allowed to open up on Christmas morning before our parents woke up. we'd get $20 each, and I would buy for my brother, and my brother would buy for my sister, and my sister would buy for me. And then the next year we'd swap it around. And you'd never want to be the person that got my brother's present because it was always horrible. No, it wasn't. I love you, Matthew. All right, here we go. Oh, we're almost done. Only a few more to go. So tuck those into the sides, like so. Oops. Tuck that down the bottom. Christmas Day was almost my favourite because we got presents, but also we got to spend time with a lot of our family. I have a pretty big family and we'd all get together and have a really big lunch with lots and lots of food. And then we would play cricket or under the sprinklers while the parents sat around and digested all the food that they ate. Yeah. Of course, at the moment, it's a little bit difficult to see all of our family. There's things happening in the world, or maybe your family lives overseas. And the great thing about technology nowadays is that you can actually talk face to face with your family. When I was growing up, you could talk on the phone, but you couldn't really see anyone. But now you can see them on video and you can make funny faces at each other and blow kisses and all sorts of wonderful things. All right, almost done. We've got only 2 more to go. Or if your family lives somewhere where technology doesn't work very well, like out back, then you could send them a letter. It's really nice having a letter in the mail. And actually, if you've written a letter to Santa and posted it at your library, you might have received a letter in the mail from Santa as well. It's a really exciting thing to happen. All right, 1 more, we're nearly done. Okay, so hold that in. Oh, so you can see there, I accidentally put too much on that side, so I'm just gonna pull it out and start again. There we go. You know, the more I look at this, the more I think the bits hanging out at the top look quite pretty. I might leave them in actually, I might not cut theirs out. It looks a bit like a pomegranate or a fruit growing on a tree. Which, now that I think about it, I think baubles actually are supposed to look like fruits hanging from a tree. Don't you think so? All right, so now you can see we've tucked all of those in all the way around. And as I said before, I might leave them hanging out the bottom piece here, but I'm going to trim them at the top because I'm going to put a ribbon up here so I can hang it from my tree. So I'll grab my scissors and I'll just snip those corners, like so, trim them up and poke in the ends. Sorry about, oh, I've got a frog in my throat this morning. I'll just poke in the ends there, like so. Make it nice and tidy. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a couple of my pins and our ribbon, and I want to get about a 10 centimetre length of ribbon. So using my tape measure again, we'll measure the end of our ribbon to about 10 centimetres and we'll cut that off at an angle. So it's got triangle ends. We're going to make a loop with our ribbon, like so. And then we're going to poke our pin through the ends of those 2 ribbons. There we go. And then we're going to poke the end, poke the end of that pin through the top of the ball. poke that in there. And so that gives a little loop to hang it from our Christmas tree. You can also grab another pin and cut the rest of our ribbon in half, like so. Make a little cross and poke the ribbon through. And then poke that into the bottom of our ball. So you've got a little ribbon decoration at the bottom. So you can decorate your baubles however you like. We've got an extra couple of pins in your pack as well, so you could poke little pins around the outside of it. So that's our 8-sided ball. And if you made a quarter-sided ball, that's the width that that corner will look like, so like that. Okay, so there we go, we're all done. We can hang that from our Christmas tree. And as I said before, we've got enough for 2 baubles in your pack, so you can make one each with your grown-up, or you can make them both together. Thank you very much for tuning in to our craft session today. Don't forget to check out our website to all the other activities we're doing during the school holidays. We've got heaps to do. And do check out our link here to our online craft page, where you'll see this video will be uploaded in a couple of days, and we'll also have the instruction sheet there as well. Have a wonderful Christmas, and we hope to see you all very soon here at the library. Bye!